Michael now, John, so you're now live.
One minute, Harry. An hour. The race is, but they've got the parade lap to do. "30 seconds, Harry." No? Hey, Sammy. Shall I get Agaris? Agaris?
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the live stream for the first round of the UIM Formula 2 World Championship Series. It starts here in Kaunas, Lithuania. We've had 2 days of action. Yesterday we had qualifying. It was all about getting through to qualifying. Today is race day. So hello, race fans. I'm joined by my co-commentator here this weekend, John Moore. John, are you ready for this?
Good afternoon, Jason. Absolutely. We've had the repechage this morning, which enabled 5 boats to compete in this Grand Prix of Lithuania, and we saw an absolutely thrilling race, Jason.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't so much about the lead boat. Just to remind viewers that it was the top 5 boats to go through. But it was Rupert Temper who led the way. He led the race, but the excitement was behind. It was between Mette Jürknes and between Brent Dillard.
2 more hulls in competition. We've just been chatting to Brent. He couldn't believe the acceleration of Mette Jürknes' hull. He couldn't get past on that type of thing, but Venci passed her on lap 12.
Yep, and then he almost passed actually Rupert Temper on this corner right in front of us. So I think if that's what he can do in a repechage race, what's he going to be like in the Grand Prix? He looked quite chilled earlier on, and certainly when he sat in our tent here, he looked quite relaxed, but you know, he'll be a different man now. Here we are 5 minutes on, and he'll now be in his boat. He'll be now focusing on the race ahead.
Now, talking about a chilled tent, it's extremely hot here in Kaunas this afternoon, but the wind is still blowing. So as per yesterday, when the boats run towards us, now if you look at they've just changed the shot, but when they're running past the pontoon, that's where the tunnel hulls are running into the wind, and that's where it gets tricky.
So there you can see the temperature, how hot it is, 29 degrees. John was wrapped up in a coat yesterday, but the coat's off today. He means business, we mean business, and well, I hope you enjoyed the race ahead.
Well, I borrowed a pair of budgie smugglers from Rupert Temper earlier just to keep me cool during this live stream. This live stream being brought to you by Lithuania's finest.
What you're seeing there is the start boat just getting itself into position as well. And on board, of course, we'll have the ever-important countdown number boards and, of course, the start lights. Our spectators getting themselves all prepared and ready, but our dignitaries are now getting themselves ready for the parade lap.
Now, the other big news today is that Edgaras Ryabko did not make it through to the main race. He'll be in the parade lap for his sponsors, but will not be in the main race.
Yeah, he had some problems yesterday, and it kind of wrecked qualifying. The repechage race also was bad, but they did find some broken parts inside the fuel tank. But no doubt we'll talk about that later on during the show. Let's have a look at the beautiful city of Kaunas. Kaunas is the second largest city of Lithuania. The interwar architecture is regarded as some of the finest examples of European Art Deco and has received European heritage. Kaunas has been selected as the European Capital for Culture for 2022. One of the many historical buildings is a medieval castle built during the 14th century, which has seen the sites of many a battle. Kaunas is located at the confluence of the largest Lithuanian rivers, Nemunas and Neris, which makes it perfect for powerboat racing. Thank you, Kaunas, for once again welcoming Formula 2 powerboat racing.
It's a fine city, Jason, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is, and you know we were welcomed yesterday. Yesterday evening we both went out and enjoyed some of the bars of the city, and
well, we certainly helped to improve the GDP of Lithuania last night. That's for sure.
So we'll go back to that repechage race this morning. So top 5 drivers went through. We have now a complete grid of 20 boats. The water approval here on this race course is 20 boats, and luckily we have 20 boats. And I think yesterday it was looking a bit doubtful because one or two drivers having issues with Kelly Vippo having a massive flip. It was almost a double flip, wasn't it? You would probably have seen the footage of that. Well, we're now looking at the race course. So you can see it's a 5-boy course. One right-hander marks there, and there you can see for yourself. 5 turns, 690 metres is the longest straight. 38 laps over this 2-kilometre course.
Now, obviously, we do apologise. We are running late. But we should be getting this parade lap underway in the next few moments.
Yeah, I think we've just got 1 or 2 more boats just to be lowered in, as you can now see in the shot there, just to the left of your screen, Root Temper's boat now back. And he's dialed in because obviously he had that repechage race this morning, which he went on to win. And he looks quite up for it. It's a new boat for him. It's a brand new DAC. They've been testing. They were testing the other week, I believe, in Belgium. And, you know, this new design, I think, could...
Well, we asked him last night what was his issues with speed yesterday. He had a fractured fuel tank, and the fumes from the tank were getting into his cockpit. So Root was pretty much breathing petrol fumes. Yep,
so a little bit... that's not a good idea, a good place to be, is it?
Well, Root's smoked and sniffed a lot of things, and I think that one did knock him out.
But the good news is he's back. So he is back in action. But I think, John, we'll just reflect back on yesterday and let's have a look at what happened.
Christian Langen's report.
Big moments. Already in Saturday's free practice, Kalevipo caused some frozen faces when he pushed a little bit too much and lost control at the pit turn. The Finnish pilot had a massive flip right in front of the shock crews on the jetty. Fortunately, Vipo was okay, just hurt his ankle in this big one. Also, Abu Dhabi pilot Rashid Al-Tayer became a victim of the rough conditions on Saturday, when he lost the boat out of the right-hander in Q1. Other than Vipo, Al-Tayer's boat stayed undamaged, so the UAE driver will be back racing at Sunday's Grand Prix. Rough water. At all Saturday's practice and qualifying sessions, the water conditions were pretty rough, which caused some spectacular scenes for many drivers. So, keeping the boat under control was one of the tasks for the pilots, as well as manage to get a quick lap time. Also very spectacular was Mike Shimura's spin at the turn after the German pilot hit a submerged object. The resulting water in the boat destroyed the balance. But even worse, the damage to the boat meant the end of his racing weekend. Not meeting expectations. The past 2 years at Garas Ryabko proved that he can handle being Grand Prix organizer and racing driver in one person, and even race for a spot on the podium. But this year it didn't work out so far. The Lithuanian pilot failed to make it into Q2. Ryabko suffered from engine issues, and the result is a disappointed Edgaras Ryabko, who now has only one last chance to qualify at Sunday's rapid charge race. And also American Brent Dillard has to go through the repechage to get one of the final spots on the grid.
It was actually, we were losing power in the motor, so right now they're pulling the heads on it. They're going to look at it. Hopefully we can fix this engine and not have to change engines and start last in the repechage race.
So now, Sunday's repechage race could become a real thriller, where not only these two try to qualify for the Lithuanian Grand Prix. Top 3 on the grid. The name of the front runners in all qualifying sessions in Kaunas changed very often, except for one. Rashid Al-Khamzi's name always popped up on that first spot. So it was no surprise that Al-Khamzi, who entered single shootout Q3 as the final pilot, got his fastest time on his first lap in Q3 and will be on pole position at the Lithuanian Grand Prix.
I am so happy. My team pushed for me hard to get this place. The boat is really perfect, and I would thank my club that helped me to reach this position.
It got much tighter on the following positions, but when it came to Q3, it was once again Tobias Muntekas who left no doubt that he is somebody to have on the list for the 2019 championship. The Norwegian pilot posted the second fastest time in Q3 and will start right next to Rashid Al-Khamzi.
Yeah, it feels great. It was, the Q3 was perfect. We fly and I had the control. But Rashid is having a strong package, so he beat me in the last session.
Third on the grid is German Stefan Hagin, who might like the Kaunas racecourse, because already last year he finished the Grand Prix with a spot on the podium. Now with qualifying third, Hagin has all chances in the 2019 edition of the Lithuanian Grand Prix.
We are happy with the lap. It was a hard fight in Q2 because there were a lot of boats under water, and it was hard to find a clean lap, but we managed it. And so for tomorrow I see it all good because I have a good start, and let's see what this race will bring.
Thanks, Christian, for your video and updates from the pits and from the action from yesterday's qualifying.
He does a cracking job, does absolutely
Absolutely
everything himself. The camera work, the commentary, the editing, amazing.
So what you're seeing at the moment then is the parade lap, and our dignitaries from our sponsors parade boats are all on board of Hegelmann Transport, Helvina, and also Elos, and they are sponsoring actually the timing and the live streaming today. So a big thank you to all of our sponsors here this weekend, and I hope you enjoy the race, because I think the location here is perfect. And just as I say that, John, the wind, I think, this wind is going to be a big issue, I think, today.
Well, I can certainly hear it coming through your microphone. There are some big gusts, and as we've said a few times this weekend, the danger zone is travelling towards us, past the pontoons. That's where the wind is really picking up.
Yeah, and it picked up Al Fahim this morning because he's somersaulted over backwards just on, what was it? It was on turn 5, wasn't it? On the run-up, just after the right-hander So turn 4 being the right-hander, and he was running up towards the top end of the racecourse. And the wind just got underneath the boat, it somersaulted and...
snapped off the starboard pickle on the sponson.
So obviously putting him out of the action for this afternoon, but we do have a grid, full grid of boats and drivers. As, well, Rashid Al-Kamzi, he want to get it done, I think. He's on it, he was on it yesterday, he was the man to beat, the fastest man here in Kaunas.
Rashid was as cool as a cucumber all day. He put in the perfect laps when he needed to, and he made it count.
Yeah, and he was, and you know, that cool calmness probably came from Capellini, I think, because Guido Capellini, as I said, 10 times world champion, looked pretty calm as well.
There he is on your screen. 2017 UIM F2 world champion.
Just looking at boat 54 there of Daniel Segenmark, who qualified 6th. So a good performance from our Swedish driver there. As we now look down the young superstar in the making, I think, of Nikita Leaks in boat number 41. 71, sorry, I do apologise about that, but the man from Latvia. Boat number 2, Johan Hosterberg. So Hosterberg then qualified 7th, John. He was going okay, wasn't he, in practice, but then kind of dropped out a bit.
Yeah, he put a bit of hero trim on in the shootout, didn't he?
Yeah.
Which made the boat a little bit lively.
So Great Britain's Owen Jelf then.
Who qualified 10th in the shootout.
Yep, starts 9th, so he's been moved up the grid then, because probably because we lost Al Fahim, so he moves up on the grid. So Jelf finds himself up in position, and he's radio man Massimo Rogero, boat builder. Today he'll be talking Owen through the race, no doubt. And of course Massimo, years and years and years of experience and Formula One, of course.
And of course we're missing the Cook Racing rubber. That's going to be taken back to Rogerio's factory in Busto this week to be repaired. And I'm extremely pleased that we've got Egaris Ryabko with us, the organiser of this event. Good afternoon, Egaris.
Hello everybody.
So this is an amazing event you've put on, but unfortunately you're not out there racing. What was your issues this weekend?
Yeah, we still don't know. We had problems with 2 engines yesterday and today. We couldn't find any issues. I don't know. We changed one engine, we changed another, and on the test wheel it looked good, but when I started in the practice session, still the same problem, no power, only maximum 7,300 RPM.
That's extremely disappointing. Is this one of the very first times you've ever had to sit out of a race?
Maybe it happened once or two when I started it 5 years ago, but yes, normally I always in the final.
Now, how long does it take to organise and actually put this event on, Egaris?
We are working about 6 months, and actually last 2 weeks it was very, very busy. So it normally takes about 6-5 months, step by step. But all things, it's finishing in the last days.
Well, thanks very much for joining us. Go and enjoy a cold beer and watch the racing.
Okay, good luck, guys.
Yeah, we have to say thanks for inviting us to this wonderful event and your lovely city here. So thanks very much indeed. We'll watch the sole remaining victory boat then now line up. Boat number 27, Monsieur Mozuri, and he lines up 13th on the grid. So a bit of a disappointing day and weekend for the victory team. As I said, especially what happened this morning. So they're going to try and salvage, I think, something out of this weekend. Now, there's the man who was on fire in the repechage race this morning, Root Temper. So we know that he's quick now. We know that all the issues are sorted out. We know that he's not breathing and drinking petrol now.
Yeah, I mean, we're not sure what our television director is going to do here, but really do keep an eye on 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th places. They're quick boats and they can make their way through the field.
So there he is, the man really of the repechage race. Brent Dillard from the USA, and he's really up for it. Well, you know, he's going to start down the grid, isn't he? So where is he? Dillard is...
all the way down in 17th.
Yeah, he is. So that's the tall order. Now, you know, his radio man has got lots of experience. Matt Polfriman, he's a driver who we know, you know, he can drive through the back. So what do you think, John? Do you think Matt's going to try and talk him through the field? Certainly he's going to help him, isn't he?
For sure he's going to be working on his tactics. But the main issue they had yesterday, they had a technical problem. It took them a while to find out. It was a compressor, which was messing with the fuel mix. Once they sorted that, they found the speed. They ran the repechage in exactly the same setup as they ran in Q1 yesterday. And they've got it together. And I think we could be in for a bravado performance from the American.
Yeah, we look forward to that. But lining up on the right-hand side of him, what we're seeing on the screen is Mette Bjorknes, and now, well, Mette, you know, she's a hard driver, you said earlier, you know, lots of acceleration out of the corners with that boat.
A similar hole to Dillard, by that before in France.
To get on driving.
We've even seen her out qualify in Macon a few years back. It's whether she can just put everything together, and you know, don't forget she's just had 18 laps, well, only an hour ago, so she's not going to be as ready for this as perhaps some of the other drivers who had more of a rest.
Yep, some of the drivers, of course, they would have gone out for a free practice this morning, but that would have been it, and quite some time has passed since then. Just waiting for just one more boat, I think, to just make it back to the... Gets really, really heated. It probably sometimes more heated. I think actually it was the quietest I've seen the tent, but everyone just so fully focused. But well, there you can see 10 of the top drivers. That's going to be an awesome sight to watch, isn't it, John? You know, 20 boats going away from this start grid here.
Yeah, 26 came to Canis. We lost 2 yesterday. And then obviously those dropped out of the repechage, and we're left with 20 boats for the Grand Prix of Lithuania. And this is, of course, the start of the 2019 UIM F2 World Championship.
Yeah, it is, and it's a 5-round championship, and from here we then go to Norway, and then it moves on to Portugal, to Italy, Brindisi in Italy, and then the final race all the way, we look to December.
In Abu Dhabi,
yeah.
Which is, of course, big news. F2 now racing at Abu Dhabi, F1 H2O won't be.
So, you heard it here first. That wind, once again, you can probably get a bit of an idea now. You can see the flags in the background, and now we're looking at that boat just kind of drifting. Also, incidentally, powered by a Mercury. So, we are almost ready.
Is that my case of wine on the... bow there?
No, you had that yesterday.
Okay.
So our race director here this weekend, Pally Larsen. Pally, of course, many years of powerboat racing experience as a driver at top level. He's putting on a fantastic show for us here this weekend. It's a newly formed Formula 2 group. How do you think it's going to go? How do you think the series is going to come together?
The key to UIM F2 is organisers. We've just spoken to Edgaras Ryabko. We know Frody Sundstall from Tonsberg is watching the stream. The organisers put in a huge amount of work unpaid to get these events on and to raise the finance for it. And World Championships like this live or die by great organisers like Edgaras and Frode.
Absolutely, and without those guys, you know, powerboat racing wouldn't exist in the way it does today. So a big thank you to everyone who puts time, effort and money, and that's the one, isn't it, John, as you say, you know, it costs a lot of money to put a show on the water like this, and I think today we are in for quite a show.
Absolutely. UIM F2 always very exciting.
So as a driver now, this is the worst bit, and of course our pole position man Rashid Al-Khamzi, then he's been sitting on that grid now for quite some time, really. I mean, I don't know how many minutes has passed, but it must be, what, 5-6 minutes, if not longer.
It seems like an eternity, Jason.
Just looking down the grid, most of the drivers having the last chance of any kind of fresh air that might be coming through, because most of them have got the canopies open. I think Owen Jelf has opted not to. So he's shut away. I guess he's fully focused. A lot of boats on either side of him. He starts 9th on the grid. And there you can see the grid there, Philippe Tour, also in a Moore boat. Slacturous ran out of fuel yesterday, of course, John.
7 laps and out of fuel. Had to go to Tesco and top up.
And what a sight then, to look down at the 20 drivers who will now about to go into the start procedure. The start boat I can see just off the screen there. Actually, you can just see it right at the top of the picture, now beginning to get itself into position. So, let's talk about the man starting in second position then, Tobias Montkas. You know, he's cool. I've just seen him a little while ago. He's still sort of fairly calm. We know that he's a good driver. He's a quick driver. Can he get the jump at the start?
This is a big year for him. He has to show maturity. If he's starting from either pole or second as he is today, he has to then go out and complete the job. And in the past, he has had issues. We've seen him start from pole in Tonsberg and have a spectacular blowover. European Championships, he's had an issue in the Heat 1 and then put it together for 2, 3 or 4. So it's a big, big year for Toby.
It is, and also a big year, I think, for Nikita Leaks, who will start 4th on the grid. I'm just looking down and you can see there our man from Benidorm, Jason Brewer. The green flag is waved. He's our pontoon marshal here for the weekend.
Doesn't it make you proud to be British when you see Jason standing there? It's wonderful, isn't it? He should have a little deck chair with a knotted handkerchief.
So there we go. Jason is happy with everything now on the grid. And 2 minutes then to go before the start of the UIM Formula 2 round 1. And it starts here, Lithuania. And we're in for a hot one, I think, in more ways than one. The wind dropped down a couple of miles an hour, I think, which is really, really good news because we don't want to be heading off into too much of a wind. Last communications then going towards the drivers. They won't want too much noise in the background. They'll be focusing on the start boat where the start lights are. Just to remind you that the start procedure, it goes 2, then down to 1 minute. The red lights will go on and you will see them. And then when they go off, that's when, well, we're probably going to get fumed out actually here, John, from where we're sitting. We're right behind, just to put you in the picture, the start grid. So we've got the best view in the house, and hopefully you've got the second best view at home.
Well, if we're not asphyxiated by Mercury Optimax smoke, we'll endeavour to carry on.
Yeah, well, we'll try. So with the wind, actually, it's a good job that it's blowing towards us and not across, because the boats catch the wind, and you know, on the start grid they can blow towards the side. But that's not a problem here today because the wind is blowing directly at us as we now go down to the final seconds now before the start of the race. I'm looking at the lights, and they're off! And the victory boat didn't get a very good start, and let's see what happens. And Uwe Slacturus then getting a bit squashed out, so here we go, John, towards the first turn.
Well, Slacturus was totally boxed in, wasn't he? He had nowhere to go. That's dropped him right the way down.
Yeah, it sure has, but let's see if we make it all safely round the turn. Stefan Hagen then making a bit of a jump then. And look at this for the lead, and it's Hagen who goes through into the lead, and Nikita Leaks then in that 3rd position. So it's all happening at the start. What happened to the pole position man, John? He's not there.
No, and this was what some people were suspecting would happen this morning. That the Abu Dhabi 35 boat wouldn't get off the line quick, and then to allow.
So they head off into the wind, and we're just looking at Hector Sands there. But here's the race leader then coming down towards us. What a start! And he's pulling away. You can't see it in the screen, but I can visually see it myself. Stefan Hagen out there in front. The man from Germany is leading this race, and a good dominating race then from him in the early stages of it. So Hagen is the leader as they come down towards us, and that boat right on the edge. He had a really good acceleration. The original pole position man is, I can tell you, in 3rd place at the moment. So Al Kemsey in 3rd place with Tobias Montkas in 2nd position.
We were talking in the qualifying commentary yesterday. We spoke to a couple of Germans on Friday. They were telling us that Hagen is going to be hot this year. Well, he's leading the race.
So Hagen then in that special pole guard, really. Hagen right out there, and we're now looking at Temper with the leader. The way that motor set up, that is perfection.
So we've got Stefan Hagen in the lead, Tobias Muntkath second, third the pole sitter Rashid Al-Khemzi, fourth Nikita Leeks, fifth Daniel Segenmark, sixth Ferdinand Zandbergen, seventh Ola Pedersen, eighth Owen Jelf, ninth Rashid Altaya, and 10th Duarte Benavente. Now, where is Brent Dillard? He's down in 13th behind Ruud Temper. Now we know those guys are quick, but they haven't managed to get away from the start and pick up positions.
Yeah, in fact, Brent is just behind this man, Duarte Benavente. And you can't see him at the moment, but he will appear as we come to another shot then of Osterberg just on the inside of Samuelson for a position.
And off camera, Dillard takes Ruud Temper, which puts Dillard into 11th. Is he going to start his charge now? We'll keep an eye on that, even if it's not on the screen.
Just seeing the picture then, Ola Pedersen just ahead of Owen Jelf. So Jelf really sort of mid-pack at the moment as we now look around the top there, and Slacterus trying for a manoeuvre, I think, but we now cut away to Rashid Al-Khemzi, who is in that third position still. I fear that might be, unless we have an incident, he might stay there.
So, after lap 3, Hagen leads. He's had a best lap time of 48.97.
Not too gusty, but that's from where we are. As you can see, it's totally different story out there. So here's the second position now. Tobias Muntkath driving to the limits. Man from Norway, and there we've got a lapping situation already, John, going on. So there's the leader trying to get past one of the back markers of the victory team. And that could also play a big part, of course, in this race. So Hagen will not want to get entangled with some of the slower boats.
Yeah, and when we're talking back markers, with 16th is Met Bergnes, 17th Luis Lecteris, who, well, was boxed in at the start. 18th is Spain's Hector Sanz, 19th Vittori, and 20th is Mansour Al-Mansouri.
Yeah, I've just watched the turn there, and you've seen it on the screen, and Al-Khemzi is just trying to squeeze a little bit too much. Wide in the turn. We go back to the leader.
And once again off screen there, Jason. Brent Dillard's now crept into 10th position. He's just taken Duarte Benavente.
So that's awesome stuff going from 17th then. So he is on the charge. He's trying to pick up that. You can see clearly there the victory boat really not on song. So this is the new DAC, this is number 36 coming towards us. So he then had a bit of an issue yesterday, Altaya, but the boat was on the test wheel actually when we tried to broadcast yesterday. I know it's your favourite noise there, John.
As you say, that's the new DAC. Of course, Al-Khemzi is 35, he's running an older hull. The hull he actually won the World Championship with it back in 2017.
Which is interesting, it's obviously a boat that he prefers better, I guess.
Clearly feels more comfortable in it.
So the race then beginning to mix itself up, as I said, with the back markers. Race leader is doing well to pick them off at the moment, but of course when he catches up with some of the back markers that are further up the grid, that's when it gets difficult, because they're 1 or 2 tenths of a second fast or slower. So we'll see how Hagen picks off some of the faster back markers. See if that works for him. So we now look at Ruud Temper coming down the race course, and John Ruud is currently laying where?
Ruud's in 13th position, and he's actually dropping back because Ustinov's just got past him.
Yep, so clearly with an issue as we now look at Osterberg. And around turn number 3. Coming up to turn 4, but the race leader then, what a face full of spray there. It goes right over the canopy, of course, but that's how tricky it is to try and get through some of the back markers then. But Stefan Hagen doing a good job at the moment. As we look down the end of the battle now, it looks like Samuelson could be the next person to kind of pick off Ruud Temper. Let's see what happens there, but just look behind because that's where the race leader is. So Stefan Hagen then just picking his way through on the inside. He's taking a tight line around. It seems to be where a little bit more smoother water is, perhaps.
This is UIM F2 Grand Prix of Lithuania coming live from Kaunas.
So we watch Hector Sands then. So he disappears out of action, but we now rejoin him, and you can see that's been a key factor of the weekend is how long the trains are here as well.
Yes.
Just run along the side of the dam there. As we look down on this lovely picturesque racecourse here in Kaunas. Gives you an idea then of how big the racecourse is. It's 2,100 kilometres. .1 kilometres, I should say, but
this feed is also going out on Lithuanian network television this afternoon, which I think probably accounts for the fact we haven't seen any cars, just everyone's indoors watching it.
And they are. So Osterberg then, he's got the second position man just right behind him, so he's going to be lapped very, very shortly. And Tobias then just trying to keep out of trouble. He's approaching now the right-hander going up the course, and this is as soon as he exits the right-hander, that's where the wind is kind of gusting down the racecourse. So he'll have to drive cautiously into the wind, but he is picking up the back markers at the moment. So back with the leader then, and Hagen finds an easy way through and laps Ruud Temper. But Temper seems to be fighting back a little bit, not too happy about the race leader going past.
Ruud's a super competitor. A little bit surprised, to be honest with you, to see him lapped so early.
Yeah, I felt that you know, in the repechage race he was doing well. He was on on top form, but I guess when he starts that far down the grid, that's what it can do to you.
Well, I mean, his quickest lap time is a 53.78 as opposed to Hagen's as a 48.97. So kind of gives us an idea.
He's off the boil, isn't he? So now we look at Rashid Al-Kamzi as he heads off. He'll be very, very frustrated, I would imagine, in that third position. Just didn't get the start he wanted. And sometimes it just doesn't dial up, does it? You can sit there on the grid in your head, you're running through the start 101 times. But when you press go, you know, it can sometimes not hook up, or not. Sometimes you get a good hook up and it will go, or sometimes it just doesn't go at all. So he won't be worrying too much about that at the moment, but he will be thinking, how am I going to get past Tobias? How am I going to actually even catch him at the moment? So Uwe Slakteris with Philip Tor just behind him. So we look at the Frenchman, very, very experienced powerboat driver, as we now look at Ola Pedersen, the man from Sweden in boat number 6. So John's been away at the moment and he returns back from the radio tent. And what's the atmosphere like in there?
Well, I've just spoken to a couple of the Abu Dhabi team members. Obviously a bad start, as we saw, for Al-Kamzi. And the looks of their faces, they look a little disappointed.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating. They've had a perfect weekend, but didn't go to plan at the start, as we now look at Netta Buknes, boat number 9. Of course, the daughter of Morten Buknes, who, of course, a very, very successful Formula 1 powerboat driver, who comes to all of the races, all of Medi's races, and supports her racing.
She's currently lying in 15th place, Ruud Temper in front of her in 14th. Now, we're on to lap number 12, and Brent Dillard is still in 10th. So that charge that we were looking for at the moment hasn't happened. He's got Rashid Al-Tayer in front of him in the 36 Abu Dhabi boat, and right now can't get past.
think at the moment Rashid is now trying to hunt down Tobias as they head off towards the right-hander.
Interestingly enough, Dillard's quickest lap was 51.43 against Altaire's 51.72. So Dillard is clearly quicker, but it's a question of getting past.
Yep, as you say, catching is one thing, passing can be difficult. He's trying everything at the moment, so right into action there. Dillard then really going for it. But the surprising thing is, just behind Dillard, about 2 boats behind, is this man, Stefan Hagen, the race leader, and trying to look for second position, which is it's about one straight distance.
His best lap time of 48.97 is a class apart from the rest of the field.
Yeah, that's something special actually, isn't it?
Slightly getting towards some of the qualifying times.
In these conditions as well, that just shows you how much he's got there. So a good drive, a good effort then from that young man. As we now look at Philippe Tour once again from France. I mean, Philippe, you know, he's the quiet Frenchman, isn't he? So probably not too impressed with where he is at the moment, but maybe things will come later on in the season from the Frenchman. It's the race leader heading towards the right-hander as we now look at second position then. Tobias Monfkas with Rashid just behind. So that gap still the same at the moment, and I think Rashid is just keeping calm. I think he might be waiting for maybe something to happen, maybe for Tobias to make the mistake when he gets up to some more back markers, and he could then possibly see an opportunity to make the jump and go through into second place. But let's see if that happens or not. But Nikita Leaks in 71 then, really impressive fourth position on the grid.
Yep, the former UIM F4 racer, now starting to make his mark in UIM F2.
Yep, and he's had an absolutely brilliant weekend so far, and absolutely faultless. Of course, the other driver from F4, Kelly Vipo, who unfortunately had the crash yesterday, will be watching this race, probably wishing that he was out there himself, but they've got a lot of work to do on that boat over the next few weeks. So you can see then on the screen the final positions, just as I say, that it dashes off. But if you're interested, lap then 16 out of 55. It's quite a long Grand Prix. As we watch the second position then, so Tobias, he's now picking off then Samuelson. So I have to say the back markers really behaving themselves, and they're looking in the mirrors. So it's always good that they're using the mirrors to watch out for the lead boats to come through. And of course they got the radio men in the tent as well. They'll be telling him, you know, Monfkas is coming through.
Quite unusual to watch a controlled F2 race, isn't it? We normally see bits of glass fibre and engines all over the place.
Well, that's just it. You just cursed it now, haven't you? That's. But no, it's good to see, isn't it? Lap 17, no yellow flags as yet, and let's hope we get through all the way through the race that way. As you look down, and what a shot that is, you can see then how busy it is out there as we cut away to this man with the new DAC Altea. Just getting to grips with things, also in a bit of traffic as well.
Now Nikita Leaks has dropped down to 9th. He must have some kind of issue. Can you see anything out there, Jason?
Well, a moment ago he had a really bad turn, and I think he was just ahead of Ola Pedersen, and Pedersen got through. So yeah, I think maybe the boat perhaps has gone off the boil, but I'm just physically looking around the circuit at the moment, just trying to pick him up. But yeah, that's not good for Kurt's team as well then, because we were saying what an absolutely superb weekend he was having, and then bang. So Route Temper now passing the victory boat, Monsieur Missouri. We look at the race leader, who's now right in front of us, who now laps once again Nikita Leaks, who takes it very wide. And I have to say, John, that Nikita Leak's boat doesn't seem quite as crisp as it was earlier, so, you know, I think that does suggest perhaps he has got a problem out there. So, John, well, the live timing has unfortunately gone away from us at the moment. We were going to give you a quick rundown of the race positions as this race now goes into the 19th lap at a 55. As we watch Hector Sens then. So the race leader, I can tell you, oh, and the boat skipped out of the water a little bit there just as he threw it into the corner, and that's because just ahead of him, 3 other back markers, and so the water now really beginning to chop up just in front here, and the reason for that is, what you probably can't see too well on the screen, is just in front of us, just in front of the start grid, they come into like a little bay area of the race course, and the water bounces a little bit off the wall, off the dam wall, and kind of makes it rough, so we'll have to watch out a little bit later on as we're only 20 laps in, so it's going to get rougher and rougher, but we'll see and keep our eye on that as we watch route temper now. He's got Owen Jelf right behind him, and and a good turn from Jelf, trying to hook it up round on the inside as they go up towards the right-hander then, but Jelf not really having enough power, and you can just see in the picture there then, so Björknes trying to get past Owen Jelf as they go around the right-hander, and we cut away from that to another shot, but that's a good battle then going on between those 3 boats then of Route Temper, Jelf and Björknes. In the meantime, well, you can see boat 51 then, the yellow boat of Uwe Slakterus, having a bit of a disappointing weekend. We said obviously yesterday that he had run out of fuel, and so really today is about trying to salvage as much as possible out of that, and well, unfortunately our timing is still down at the moment, but we'll pick up with that in a moment, and you can't see that on screen, but Dillard really picking his way through. He's got the race leader actually just behind him, but Dillard picked off about 2 boats, or 3 boats actually, on the corner right just in front of us.
Yeah, Dillard's got up into 7th place, Jason. So the charge has started. He's got past Abu Dhabi's Rashid Al Tayyab, and he's now looking to pick off Ola Pettersson, who's just in front of him.
Yep, and it's very, very busy. I'm just looking across the racecourse actually on how busy it is. All of the starters then still running in this race, which is good because no problems for anybody out there.
Okay, this is how the order's looking. Rashid Al-Kemzi, the pole sitter, sits into 3rd position.
So you can see Dillard then in the picture now. He's being lapped there, and he won't like that at all. So Stefan Hagen now laps Dillard. So we now lose the sight of them both. But Dillard, then you can now see the race leader now at the top end of the racecourse, now coming down the straight, 400-metre straight between turn 5 and 6. Stefan Hagen on lap 23 has led from start to now, and he's looking pretty comfortable at the moment, picking off the back markers quite well, not getting into any trouble. And Johnson news.
Yeah, obviously, as you say, Hagen in the lead, Tobias Muntakath 2nd. He's had a best lap time of 50.38. Hagen's best lap still stands at 48.97. 3rd, Team Abu Dhabi's Rashid Al-Kemzi. 4th, Daniel Segenmark. 5th, Ferdinand Zandbergen. 6th, Ola Pettersson. 7th, Rashid Al Tayyab, and 8th, Dillard. So it would appear that Al Tayyab got back past Dillard again.
Yeah, I think Dillard was having a bit of a scrap with the race leader. But, yeah, so not Dillard's day. So there we see Owen Jelf, who, so where was, we lose the timing again unfortunately, but Jelf then in the mid-pack really at the moment. As we said, Owen started 9th on the grid. As we look at second place man Tobias Mumfkes then, who was having, and he almost rolled it. So Tobias then trying to go through, trying to lap Rupert Temper there, and the boat kind of dug in, and he would have seen it then, and a tricky moment, and that's how dangerous it can be sometimes to try and overtake on the inside of a back marker, but he got away with it.
Lap 25 of 55, Stefan Hagen still leads. Tobias Mundkau from Norway, second. UAE driver Rashid El Kemzi, Team Abu Dhabi, third. Daniel Segermark, fourth. Zandbergen, fifth. The Sharjah team, sixth is Ola Pettersson, seventh Rashid Al Taya, eighth Brent Dillard.
And Dwight Benavente, the man of F1 and F2 experience, not even in the top 8. So a bit of a disappointing weekend, I think, for Dwight. As we look at Rashid Al Kemzi, and
well, we've got a yellow flag here, Jason.
So looking around the racecourse, you can't see that on the screen at the moment, but so we are under a waved yellow. So you'll see the boat slow down. This is when it gets noisy in the radio tent, because what happens is that the lead boat, in this case it's Stefan Hagen, will bring the pace of the race down. They'll slow down. They'll then have to try and get into their race positions. We then remove whatever the problem is, which I can see now what the problem is. So one of the turn buoys has been dislodged, and well, that's going to take a while to just replace that turn buoy. They've recovered it at least. So yep, so this could be, we're in for another restart. Of course, at this time it will be under a yellow, so they'll go from a yellow, and when they've got water clearance, they'll go to a green flag situation. And I'm wondering now, can Tobias, I don't think Tobias has got the pace, to be fair.
Well, the thought was just crossing my mind. Hagen's done all the work here, all the heavy lifting, and then under yellow, once this race gets restarted, can Tobias Mundkau get past him? And you know something, that's very possible.
But the man who really wants to take the jump on those two will be the third position man.
Yeah, our pole sitter Rashid Al Kemzi. Has it played into Team Abu Dhabi's hands?
So the turn buoy then now being taken back to its original location. You can see on the screens then, yep, waved yellows as we now slow the pace of the race down slightly, effectively like they do in Formula 1 car racing. At least the turn buoy's not damaged, John, because that would have cost a fortune if it was.
It's a couple of €100 fine. Which in Lithuania would buy you a house.
So it now becomes psychological warfare now on the water, because, and I've seen it in the past where some of the drivers kind of, even though they're not racing as such, they're just going around in race order, but they'll try and pull level with the boat that's in front, and they kind of push each other and just build up the pressure. And you can see that's exactly then what Tobias is doing to Stefan Hagen. He's letting him know he's there, and he's saying, right, you know, this race is mine as soon as the flag's dropped. Can Stefan Hagen, can he hold the pressure off? So we're still fixing the turn buoy, incidentally, lap 28 out of 55. But it does mean that we do get to see then another start, which is always exciting. Disappointing if you're leading a race, but for us viewers, always exciting to have a start halfway through the race. And let's see what happens in a couple of minutes' time, because the turn buoy is now fixed into position. The rescue are now getting back on station. So I feel that maybe a couple of laps, maybe on lap 30, 31, we could be going for a go, for a green.
Yeah, now if you are watching the live timing on the timing screen at home, it is apparently wrong. So we are pretty much in the dark at the moment, but obviously Jason is keeping you up to date with the leading boats. Our television director here, that's why he stopped putting the timing up on the screen, because he knows it to be incorrect. We certainly know that Mette Berknes isn't leading the race, is what the timing screen was showing.
Yep, so it's going to take a couple of laps or so just to sort the race order out. A race director's nightmare. So if you've just joined us and you are watching, a big warm welcome from Lithuania, and you're watching UIM Formula 2 World Championships, the opening round then of 5 races this season. And we are under a waved yellow at the moment, with Stefan Hagen effectively leading the race. With look at these three, they're saying come on, we want to get this done, we want to get on with it. 25 laps remaining. It's going to be a 25 lap kind of shootout, I guess, between these three. And just like Tobias was saying to Hagen, yep, I'm there, Rashid was also doing that to Monfkas. So it's going to be a pretty exciting start, I think, from those three. We're going to certainly have to watch that and follow that. Now, the question is, where will the race director release the boats? They've got a long straight. My feeling, and I don't know, is they'll release them at the top end of the course between turns 4 and 5, which is where we're now looking at. That's probably where I'd expect the race director to release them.
Yeah, it's going to be Pelle Larsen's call. The pressure in Stefan Hagen's cockpit must be immense. He's been hunted down by Rashid Al-Khemzi and Tobias Monfkas. He's got to make the perfect start.
And interestingly, Tobias is choosing to be on the right-hand side of him. And you can see that Rashid is choosing to be on the left-hand side of him. So he's got no rest. So Hagen is looking in mirrors, and in each mirror there's 2 pickle forks. And yeah, he's got to be cool on the restart, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got a Norwegian in one mirror and a former world champion in the other.
Well, we just wait now. And this is, of course, coming into play, and it's going to be quite good for Dillard to get the jump on the restart.
And you can see the Brent Dillard team there in the radio tent, still under yellow. As you can see now, lap 31 of 55. It's our Hungarian safety team.
Yep, and unfortunately we've needed them on a couple or 3 occasions this weekend. But they're doing a good job there to recover the boats. And their head man is, of course, Alec, who has looked after that team for many years now.
How'd you get on with pronouncing Alec's surname? Did you be good with that?
Cosmo?
Mm.
Was that wrong?
I wouldn't attempt it.
So still the yellow, so we're going on an extra lap than what I predicted. Maybe the race director feels that the boats probably aren't close enough at the moment. So let's wait and see what happens. But we're going up towards the right-hander. And Rashid has dropped back a little bit.
32 of 55, still under yellow.
Yeah, we're hanging on the edge of our seats now, just waiting for the boats to be released for the remaining laps of this opening round of the Formula 2 World Championship. And as we look now at the top end, you can see all the boats just going past, but still no release as yet on this lap. So they're now coming down towards us, and well, they're still under a waved yellow, but I thought we were going to get the go then, but it wasn't to be.
I think Hagen did as well.
Yeah, I see the pace had picked up, and for a moment I thought we'd missed it, and I thought that the start was going to be then, but they've got to be careful in this scenario as well, not to trip over each other at slow speed.
Now, obviously, there's a delay on the feed you're watching at home, but we're looking out the window just to see when that this float race goes green again.
So I'm wondering if it will be on this next straight, lap 33 out of 55. Radio tent must be really, really intense at the moment. John's actually being brave enough to walk in there. And let's see, we're now watching the straight again. I'm listening for the whistle, which will indicate to us that it's go, but it's not go at the moment. And one more lap under the yellow of your race leader, Stefan Hagen, with Tobias Monfkaff in second position, and then Rashid Al-Kramzi in third place. John, you're back, you made it, you got out safe.
Yeah, sadly, I mean, we're still under yellow. They're still struggling with the turn mark.
And lap after lap, the driver's tension will be building and building, and no driver other than the race leader will feel the pressure more. As we now look at him, boat number 19, Stefan Hagen. And there it is, there's the den, there's the Lion's Den with all the radio personnel crew there. And you can see for yourselves, still under a waved yellow flag situation. And the race course, John, it has to be set up, it has to be perfect, it has to be 100% before the race director gives the all clear.
Yeah, that's right, but when I did go into the radio tent, there's obviously a few in there not happy with this, as you can imagine.
So lap 34 then. Hagen leads, Monfkaff second, Rashid third. And then Daniel Segmark in that fourth position. So we look, as we're on now lap number 35, as we look at Tobias Monfkaff, he'll be hoping it will be on this next straight where they get released, but you can see at the moment, no, that yellow is still, well, I thought it was going to come in then, John. Certainly there was movement, but not at the moment.
It's like the Black Friday sale in that radio tent, isn't it?
That is. Let's wait and see as we cut back to our race leader.
And here we go, we've gone green.
And we're off then, and does Tobias get the jump? And no, he doesn't. Oh, and that's close. As you can see, Rashid trying to come through on the inside, but...
And loses a place.
It didn't happen, did it? So I think that was Segmark who was up there, but let's have a look. There's the leader with second position, and Rashid, I think, is going to go through. And let's just pick that up.
Oh!
What a turn!
Well,
and the leader has stopped! stopped.
Al Kemsey takes the lead.
There's been a big accident there, and the race leader, so the leader is out. Hagen is out of the race. What a dramatic drama on the restart here in Lithuania, and Stefan Hagen. And there was all sorts of other carnage. One of the Abu Dhabi boats was involved as well, which must have been Altea. Route Temper has come to a stop, and you can see then that, well, Stefan Hagen pushes the canopy up, and he's got to be super mad now.
Well, I think we had 30 seconds of racing under green there, didn't we?
I think so.
And we'll try and put together exactly what's happened here. There's bits of boat floating in front of us here in the tent.
Now, there's going to be all sorts of conversations going on there on whose fault that was, but we'll not go there with that one, I don't think.
And it's absolutely agony for Stefan Hagen. That's put him out of the race.
So there's the boat. So who was that? I've just missed that there, but I'm pretty sure it was Altea who's lost the cowling. You just see it. It is Altea, in fact, the new DAC -1 bit. It's just floating in front of us actually at the moment, and the driver's then being told to avoid that area because we've got a bit of cowling. We've got a.
So Rashid Altea is in the lead now with Tobias Muntkath second.
We've got to go through it all again. Well, this does now put it into a dream start perspective for Rashid.
Al Kemsey in the lead. We're under yellow.
Let's just have a look. I think we're on a replay here then. So Hagen almost overcooks it, and it looked like the engine, I don't know, causes all sorts of confusion behind him. So Dillard just missed him. Then Pedersen collected Altea there. So has Pedersen got some damage, I wonder? But I wonder what caused Hagen to have the moment in the first place. Was it an engine problem and that what caused the boat to hook, or did he hook? Who knows? But either way, it's not good news.
37 of 55. Once again, good for fuel economy under yellow.
Yep. And once again, the mind games continue as we now reach lap 37, coming up to lap 38 out of 55.
Off your screen, there's bits of Abu Dhabi boat being picked up by the rescue people.
Yeah, they've had a bit of a mixed weekend, really. They've had success, they've had a little bit of failure as well. So, so thanks for staying with us, and you're just watching us under our second waved yellow of the weekend. As we look at our race leader with Tobias, and there he goes again. Now, what's happened there? Because Tobias, they're now being told, of course, the right order. So Tobias then, I'm guessing, is going back into his respective position. Because I guess that he was in second. We've lost the race leader, so I'm guessing they're going back to what we were under the original waved yellow.
Interesting, yeah. So he would have passed under yellow, and they've dropped that back. So we actually have a Norwegian leading this race.
Which is quite interesting because the show goes from here to where, John?
To Norway.
Now see, just looking at that yellow flag there, you can get an indicator. I think we're going to be in for another awesome restart, and just a little shot there of Route Temper with the canopy open, kind of way back to the rest of the field. John is just in the background at the moment, just trying to squeeze a little bit of information out of Tobias's team personnel. We'll wait and see what comments John has. John?
Yeah, well, I've just been speaking to Tobias's team. He has got a problem with his power steering, and they are absolutely terrified it's going to let go. So, right under yellow, this is going to suit him. But if he gets back under green, has he got the steering?
Yeah, because...
so we're going to see another twist and another turn, I think, here, Jason.
These engines, and if they've not got the power steering, it makes it very, very hard to drive. It's doable, but it's not easy.
Well, he's a big, strong lad, I guess.
Well, that just adds another bit of drama onto this restart, and here we go, down the straight then. And Tobias then, now let's see if this power steering is working or not. And he's still there, he's still hanging in the lead. Where's Al-Kremzi then? He's in that second position. And, well, we'll wait and see as they come down towards us. But Mumfkas is the leader. Oh, and Rashid takes it wide then. And Daniel, second mark, has to try and take it tight as we go back up the racecourse. So, well, he held on to the lead then, John.
Yeah, he held on to it. Second mark done incredibly well here to get himself into second, hasn't he?
Absolutely, and well, that's another interesting scenario then out here on the racecourse. Lap 40 out of 55. 15 laps to go as the race leader at the top end of the racecourse, and Rashid he's got through then into second. So Rashid is through into second once again, and second mark third. But here is the leader. He takes it wide coming down towards us here and into this pin turn at the rough end of the racecourse.
Oh.
So Tobias then clearly leading now. It's going to be a long remaining session then, remaining part of the race for him. Just hoping it all hangs together. And
14 laps to hang on to this boat with a steering problem.
Yeah, that's not a good position to be in, but he looks cool. He's doing it, isn't he? And let's just keep fingers crossed that it's going to hang together for him as he comes down the racecourse. But the wind here is certainly, since the start of the race, has picked up a little bit, and I think that could also come into play a little later on in the Grand Prix.
I think you'd have to say it's proper blowing, Jason.
It certainly is.
So Mumfkas still leads this race from Rashid Al-Khemzi now in second. Daniel Segermark into third. Al-Khemzi into second position. Fourth is Ferdinand Zandbergen, in probably his best position ever in Formula 2. Fifth, Ola Pedersen. Sixth, Brent Dillard. Seventh, Duarte Benavente. Eighth, Konstantin Ustinov.
Once again, we look at the full shot of the racecourse. And already the race leader is 3/4 of a lap ahead of the back marker, which unfortunately in this scenario is the victory team boat of Mansouri. And not good for the victory team here this weekend in Lithuania. So the race leader then, Tobias Mumfkas, the man from Norway leading the race.
Brent Dillard is up to fifth, Jason.
That's incredible stuff. Dillard, who started way down the pack, remember from earlier, 17th on the grid. So that's an enormous effort, John, isn't it?
Yeah, the American's on a charge now.
I think he's still got that repechage race in him, I think. And he's getting it out of his system slowly.
Yeah, he enjoyed that earlier, and he'll be enjoying this.
Lap 43. So we now pick up with the race leader once again, Tobias Mumfkas. But I can tell you that Kremzi is right behind him. And a couple of good turns, I think. Could see Rashid pull up alongside Tobias. But we'll wait and see if that develops. I mean, as a racer yourself, John, you know, what's going to be going through Tobias's head at the moment?
As we just spoke to the team, they are concerned with the steering issue. He has led races before, and it really is, as a famous football manager once said, it's squeaky bum time for the Norwegian team.
Well, it certainly is. He's got the belt. Oh, and that's a retirement then. So boat number 10 out of the race, and the whistle goes.
And we've gone under yellow.
So, yeah, Samuelson then retires from the Lithuanian Grand Prix. The canopy is up, so possibly a mechanical problem there. Samuelson out of the race.
Now we're back green. .43 laps down.
Just looking then of the retirement of Oscar Samuelson and Ola Pedersen as well. So this is, so we might have missed this. So something's happening there. So Ola Pedersen in boat number 6. So boat 6 is also looking like a retirement. So Pedersen's canopy open, and
yeah, he was in 8th position, so that's incredibly disappointing for him.
So we've lost, what, 3 boats in this race. We've lost Stefan Hagen, which was the most dramatic one, the race leader.
I'm here with
So the race has come to an end. Unfortunately, our screen was giving us the wrong information, and it was a 45-lap Grand Prix and not a 55-lap Grand Prix. So we'll get you the official results very, very shortly. So we do apologise about that, but certainly full of drama. And I did wonder actually why we're getting a couple of retirements there. So some good driving from everybody, and it's commiserations from the initial leader.
Jason, I've just been into the radio tent. There's confusion everywhere. Obviously the timing screens weren't working throughout the race. The radio guys in there were looking at the timing screens thinking there was more laps to go. The race is now finished and we have to get some form of positions.
Yeah,
it's called everyone out. We were just about to chat at that moment to Matthew Borferman. He thought there was another 10 to go. I've just spoken to Massimo Ruggiero. He described it as a disaster. Let me get into the radio tent again and try and get some more information for you, Jason.
Thanks, John. So, sorry about the confusion, but we'll just go with it for now anyway. So the you see there then the jetty full of the competitors, the F2 boats, the Sharjah team, of course, headed by Sami Selio, the team manager. As we now look down at Tobias Mupfkas, who I think is the winner then of the Lithuanian Grand Prix. And if that is the case, then a super job. I have to say, though, it was unlucky, wasn't it, for Stefan Hagen, who was leading up until that disaster on the restart. And there we are. That's officially confirmed then. So Tobias Mupfkas from Norway is the winner of the Lithuanian Grand Prix of 2019. A great drive in difficult circumstances at times, as John was telling you, with the power steering, kind of letting go, really. So he's going to be heading off to Norway at the next round in August, where he will start his home Grand Prix, the leader of the World Championship. And everybody else just wondering what went wrong as we just look down. So a second position then for Rashid Al-Khamsi. who also give a good scrap, so they were really sort of fighting towards the end. It should have really have been his weekend. He started off, of course, being fastest in free practice yesterday, and then he went to qualify, and of course that pole position after that 10-boat shootout yesterday afternoon. Probably disappointed that he didn't win, but actually second position is pretty good, because at one point it was looking like it wasn't even going to be second. It was looking like a possibility of a third. As we now look at the UK's very own Owen Jelf, the most experienced Formula 2 driver of them all here this weekend, with his pit crew there. Of course, Rob on the back of the boat. And then we move across, of course, to Ola Pedersen, having a bit of a chat with the Sharjah team. And he's always smiling. So, Ola. What a character, Brent Dillard, as we were saying earlier. Brent giving us some superb action earlier on this morning in the repechage race. Didn't need to put on the charge, but I guess he wanted to get a good grid position and salvage something out of the weekend. Let's have a look at some of the highlights of the Lithuanian Grand Prix. So disaster then for Hagen, but success for Tobias Montfkas.
And that's not the case, I'm afraid, Jason. Tobias Montfkas has been given a lap penalty for...
Oh my, so something's happened there.
Yeah, he took a buoy and they've given him a 1. They've just been showing him in the radio tent there what he did. So the winner currently is Rashid Al-Khemzi. Abu Dhabi have got the race win.
Wow, that's a very, very interesting scenario, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of confusion going on. Everyone I've spoken to is as confused as we are, and you will probably are at home.
So in the meantime, we'll just have a look at some of the scenery then around this beautiful city here in Lithuania of Kaunas.
Ar girdit mane? Per mikrofoną, jo?
Hello? Hello?
Sound good, yes.
So very, very shortly, John, I think we're going to be sending Sylvia down to do some interviews, grab some of the drivers. And it's going to be interesting, isn't it, John, to get some of the feedback. Maybe they'll resolve some of our questions, perhaps.
Yeah, Sylvia's going to have a work cut out there, working this out.
So, yeah. Yep, good luck, Sylvia.
Jason, I'll leave you again. I'll go and get some more updates.
Thanks, John. So John just runs off, and once again, we can only apologise on behalf of Formula 2. But as John's explained, there is somewhat confusion about what's happened there. But it would all be resolved, I'm pretty sure. But if Tobias Montfkas, if he has been penalised 1 lap, he's going to be super, super unhappy. So some of these teams then made their way very early on during the week to be here. Various drivers off to various locations. Speaking earlier to Brent Dillard, and he was saying that he's flying around all over the place. He's going home, I think, out of the next month. He's only back home for about a week, so he's got a busy time flying around. He's doing a bit of testing, I think, back in Italy. But John, I'm just looking at a man with a checkered flag in his hand from the Abu Dhabi team.
Yeah, well, what we do know is the race is over. At the moment, it would appear that Rashid Al Kemsi is the winner. He's holding that checkered flag. There is at least 3 protests going on in the tent at the moment. We're trying to work through what's happened there. We do know that Tobias Munthkath, who we thought had won the race, has taken a 1-lap penalty for hitting a buoy. He's still in there discussing with the officials on that problem.
But what we are going to get, I think, is, and you can't see it at the moment, but we'll talk about it anyway, is a lap of honour from our race winner, Rashid Al Kemsi. So congratulations, and either way, Cappellini's going to be a happy man here today, although I'm sure he'd want to win the race under different circumstances.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello, everyone. We're here with Ferdinand Zanderberg, who just finished 3rd. So congratulations. First things first, did you expect to finish so far up in the podium?
No, I was not expecting that, but it was a tough race, and I'm happy that I finished 3rd.
Was it very complicated because of the yellow flag situations and all the interruptions? What was the hardest part of this race for you?
Yes, the yellow flag was really helping me, and I think the second restart was the hardest part because there was a lot of water and don't see much, but it was very good.
So congratulations again, and that's it for now. Thank you.
Well done, Sylvia, for grabbing our Sharjah driver there. As we look at the winner of the first round of the Formula 2 World Championship Series of Rashid Al Kemsi, and a good effort then from him, the checkered flag and the UAE flag being displayed, and all of his team and pit crew. So a good start of the year for Abu Dhabi.
It certainly is. They lead the F1 H2O World Championship. They're now leading the F2 World Championship.
And that's perfection, isn't it? That's a good race setup, isn't it? It is professional. What they do is professional. It's a professional setup they've got. The interesting thing is he won it in an older DAC.
Yep, his World Championship winning boat of 2017. We are, of course, going to get more interviews by Silvia Bulganovi. I don't know how she looks so vibrant. I was out with her till 5 o'clock this morning. I certainly don't look that good.
I don't know. Just having a little bit of a look back at some of the highlights of the Grand Prix.
Hello, we're back, and we're here with the winner of the 2019 Lithuanian GP, Rashid Al-Kamzi. Congratulations, Rashid. Can you tell us a bit about the beginning of the race? Because we saw you going out, you were in pole position, but then you had some issues at the first buoy, you came out third. What happened there?
Yes, I was in the pole position, and I have some problem in the start, the boat not start. After I start, I think I don't know which position, 6 or 7. I enter the first buoy, the third, and I keep pushing hard, but there is no any answer. I stay in the third position. I wait for the front boats to have any mistake so I can pass them. And before it come the restart, I was third. And then when they give the green again, I get to the first position. Then coming again the yellow flag. And I stay second and finish the race second. Then I come to the timing. They surprised me that I'm in the pole position.
Well, congratulations again. And one last thing. This is the second time you won the Grand Prix of Lithuania, because you also won 2 years ago. How does it feel to be back on the top spot of the podium?
I feel very happy because this one the second pole position in Lithuania, and I'm focusing to get this world champion. And I would think my team, they push very hard for that. That's all.
Well, good luck for the rest of the season and stay tuned for the prize giving ceremony. Thank you.